What's going on, everyone? Talen here, and welcome to another account progression video. Alright, so in this one here, we're going to be taking a look at Gladiator. So I have him somewhat built up. He's level 60 right now. I didn't bother getting him to level 70 because he kind of decimated my resources. So that's made me, I don't know, just not want to play with him for a while because ranking him up, I don't know, it felt like it took more than 12,000 black antimatter, and I went down to like 0 black antimatter. So after going through all of that, I was like, you know what, you could just sit over here. I don't feel like dealing with you anymore. But now I'm gonna get around to finally making a video on him. So here is Gladiator. Got him to 6 stars, and I got all of his gears to level 20. So that's probably why it felt like it took so much black antimatter, because I didn't have any already like fused up. Thought I would have like just left over from I don't know, just playing the game, but I guess I must have used it on some native tier 2 uniforms or something like that, because I didn't really have any fused, so that's why he cost me so many resources. But anyway, let's just go ahead and take a look and see if he was worth the investment here. So for his skills, I have the 3rd skill leveled up here because we have some accumulation. It's going to be damage dealt, and it's 10%, 1%, so that should be a 100% increase to all attack. We have his 4th skill leveled up because we get that all attack, all defense, and crit rate. Oh wow, it was 40% crit rate. I didn't remember that from last time. But yeah, he's got 40% crit rate, so it's going to be very easy to cap on crit rate, so that's cool. The 5th skill here we have leveled up for the all defense down. He stacks up to minus 60%, which is really close to what we need to be able to use a, debuff leadership with him, because you want 65%, because that's kind of the cutoff for, at least for the higher stages in World Boss Ultimate. If you use the White Fox or Dr. Voodoo leadership with a minus 60% character, they can still get a noticeable increase in damage for kind of like the mid stages of World Boss Ultimate, but once you start getting to like 70 and up, you're going to notice that really falls off, whereas someone with minus 65%, even at 70 and up, you're still going to notice that increased damage. So just something to keep in mind if you were planning on trying to use him to push really high in World Boss Ultimate or something like that, is you're looking for the minus 65% cutoff. Let's see, his passive here gives him super armor, all defense, some skill damage, bonus damage, and decrease all damage received. So he gets like some of everything here in his passive. The key thing though is he does have super armor, so you don't necessarily need to give him guard break immunity unless you're going to be trying him out in PvP. Then it's always good to have both of them, super armor and guard break immunity, because it makes him a little more annoying to deal with. And he does have iframes on 5 and 4, which are going to be his damage dealing skills anyway. His leadership here, we have another all attack leadership, but this time it is a 55% all attack leadership instead of the standard 45%. So he's going to be one of the best kind of just all attack leaderships in general, like leadership that applies to everyone. So yeah, if you wanted a nice leadership, you can always use him for that as well. And his passive here, he's got a nice HP heal, that 5%, which they seem to be doing with a lot of characters recently, is giving them the below 99%, they have a 5% HP heal, which really helps with survivability, so I can't really complain too much about that. And then for the isolate set, we have overdrive on him. I believe that's just the first one I rolled because I think Power of the Angry Hulk would be preferred for the attack speed. For the obelisk here, I just kind of have a placeholder. This was just to try him out a little bit. We have a max HP 140 proc because he does seem okay with a damage proc. The 5th skill right here is on a, 8-second cooldown, so that can mess you up, or 7.5-second cooldown. So I can mess it up a little bit, but not too much. And then we have a 7-second here. The only really long cooldown he has is on his 3rd skill, which is a 9-second cooldown. So you're not really going to get that accumulation up every single skill rotation, so you're going to have to kind of stagger that one a little bit. Let's see, besides that, let's go ahead and take a look at his stats here. So, yeah, his attack speed is a little bit low. He does have the leadership tag, so you can use White Fox for her passive as well, if you want. But yeah, I want to get that attack speed up a little bit. If I use Power Angry Hulk, I should be able to get that really close to cap there. His crit rate is going to be maxed out because of the 40% that he gets from his, the 4th skill. And then his crit damage, a little bit low, but again, I haven't put any Uru or much other investment in him besides getting him to level 60 and gears 20. We have almost max ignore defense and almost max skill cooldown. So that's where he's sitting here. So let's go ahead and take him into a little bit of gameplay, and we'll show him off a little bit. And I'll also get into one of my complaints about his all defense down here on the 5th skill, which is very similar to Wave, if you remember that whole fiasco with Wave's all defense down not always applying. So yeah, let's get into some gameplay and show that off. Alright, so here we are at World Boss Ultimate. We're going to be doing Proxima here, stage 51. This is a team that I'm just going to be using for testing him out here. It's not the optimal team for him because, of course, I said he has the leadership tag, so I could use another support there, and I could even use White Fox to get the extra bonus. So he can use double support with his own lead, so he's kind of like the triple buffed character, which always really helps out with damage, especially if you're going to want to use him in like GBR or something like that. In World Boss Ultimate, you need that all defense down to kind of back up that damage, so it doesn't always translate to higher World Boss Ultimate stages. But anyway, I'm using this team here just so I can switch over Doc Voodoo very easily if I wanted to try out the debuff leadership. But right now, we'll just test him out like this, so he just has one support. So again, he could definitely be stronger if I used a second support there. So keep that in mind. So yeah, let's just hop in and kind of see his skill rotation and see how he plays. Alright, so we're going to open with the 5th skill for the all defense down, and also we're going to proc on the 5th skill. So here we go. You can see we did get the all defense down, and it stacks up pretty much immediately. We're going to hop into the 4th skill, go into the 3rd skill, and then back into the 5th skill for the, hopefully the damage proc. That was a little delayed there. Then as you can see, we are staggered a little bit from the 3rd skill, so I kind of just kited around a little bit and yeah, stalled a little bit for time there. This is where you kind of can have your damage proc go off accidentally like it just did right there. His 3rd skill, you can't really cancel it. Once he starts doing the animation for the 3rd skill, well, I mean, you can cancel it if Proxima is close enough to you. But if Proxima jumps away, he's just going to continue with the 3rd skill animation. You're not going to be able to cancel it. So sometimes I like to run up to her and then go into the 5th skill there. And again, the damage proc is a little bit off here. I do find that the 5th skill gives the most damage here, at least against Proxima. Maybe it's because his 4th skill is typed as fire, so elemental. Gosh, I keep getting stunned here. Elemental, so that could be what's causing it to maybe do less damage, because I feel like if you combo them together, because see, if I combo them together, I still just pretty much get the same amount of damage as if I just let the 5th skill play all the way out. Right now, he's not really showcasing what I mentioned a little earlier about the all defense down not applying. So let's see if I can kind of showcase that a little bit better. So right there, boom, use the 5th skill. Oh, it's still applied, but it's stacked up totally 3 times. And what I was saying is he's very similar to Wave, is only part of his 5th skill actually applies the all defense down, and it's actually that beginning part. So right here where he kind of like does that power up and that explosion around him, that kind of wave that he makes when he does that kind of power up animation needs to hit the world boss, or else you don't get the all defense down. So this extra kind of damage right there from the 5th skill doesn't apply all defense down, so it's only this. So if I get a little further away and then I do it, boom, you can see no all defense down has been applied to her, even with that explosion at the end there. So that's what I meant when he's similar to Wave, because Wave, you have to be very close to the world boss to actually get the all defense down to apply, because it's, again, kind of like a proximity thing, and it's just like the water at her feet when she does her, I think it's her 5th skill as well that applies to all defense down. So it's that applies it. So if that misses or the boss is out of range, then like the tornadoes that you summon does not apply all defense down. So that's just something to keep in mind that makes him somewhat, or a little bit more annoying to play, because when you're using your 5th skill and trying to proc on it, you need to make sure you're right up there with the world boss, because you need to be really close to them in terms of your vicinity. So that's one thing that I don't like about him. And also, of course, didn't like it right there. Oh, that was only a stack up to like, yeah, 3 times. So you didn't even get the minus 60 right there for your all defense down, because only a very edge of it clipped her. So that's why you need to go up close, because then you can see it stacks 8 times and you get that full all defense down. So yeah, that's just one of the complaints I have out of him. Besides that, his damage is really good. His survivability is really good. He seems to be damage proc friendly, because you can proc pretty consistently on the 5th skill. Right there, of course, it didn't do that, but also if you need to, I think proccing on the 3rd skill, if you still have some of that all defense down applied, actually does a pretty significant amount of damage. So it is a second option that you can use. The 4th skill, it looks like it should do a lot of damage, but for some reason it seems like that one is on the lighter terms of damage out of the 3 skills you're using. So the 5th, 3rd, and 4th skill are the main ones you're going to be using. You can also use the 2nd skill if you need that iframe for just a second there to kind of stall. But in terms of trying to line up your damage proc, I'd say either try to get it on the 5th or the 4th skill. Because the 3rd skill, or the, wait, what did I say? Did I say 4th skill? I meant the 5th or the 3rd skill, because the 4th skill doesn't appear to be super high damage. So anyway, yeah, even with me just goofing around there and stalling for quite a while, we still managed to do a phase change. Well, actually, that was almost the entire time. But he can clear this stage within the time limit with this current team up that I have here. So he is able to do that. And then, of course, if we switch over our leadership here, you can see we do get a noticeable spike in damage. But again, if I move up in the floors, that damage spike goes away pretty significantly once you get, what, above like 70. I mean, I guess I tried him out in 80. Maybe I didn't try him too much lower. So definitely in stage 80, you lose a ton of damage even with the leadership here. And I tested out with characters with minus 65%. I don't think there was any minus 65% though for physical damage. So it wasn't, I don't think we stacked that enough. Yeah, we only got 1 stack there, so that's not going to show it off enough. Here we go. Now we should be able to see. Yeah, as you can see, the damage, that's kind of what you expect to see when you're all defense down. It gets to a significant level where your attack stat kind of overpowers the world boss there. So that's what we want to see. So yeah, that's looking good. But what I was saying is, I don't remember there being any, we died there, any physical damage characters with a minus 65%. So I was just trying out Silver Surfer. And when you get to the higher stages and you use the debuff leadership with him, you still get that kind of extra or increased damage. So that's kind of the cutoff. Of course, you ideally want to get to 70% because then you'll get the minus 100% all defense down. Whereas at minus 65, minus 65, it was what, 80 or 80? I mean, 91%, I think is the number I'm looking for here. 91, 92%. Yeah, so it's just something to keep in mind. I mean, it doesn't really hurt him too much because for the most part, at least for me, I don't know how everyone else does it, but for World Boss Ultimate, I tend to just play stage 50 because that's where you get the increased chance for the special World Boss booty box. Goes up to the mythic tier because, you know, when you go beyond that, stage 60 here doesn't change anything. If we go all the way up to max here, as you can see, it's still the mythic World Boss Booty Box. And as of right now, I don't think they've updated anything to make these more enticing when you go up in stages. They said something about that in the developer notes, that they're going to make the rewards more enticing for people that want to push to like the really high stages. So, you know, later on in the game, it might be more beneficial then to go up to your max stage opposed to just playing stage 50 for the rewards. But as of right now, that's what I do. I'm curious to know what any of you guys do. Do you push to always your highest current, you know, unlocked level in World Boss Ultimate, or do you just go with a nice kind of, like I said, stage 50 for me is nice and easy to clear, so I can always get through. I don't have to really focus too much. I can just get through the stage, get my rewards, and be done, and not really challenge myself too much if I'm not feeling it. You know, if I want to push, I still have some other world bosses, of course, that I'm not maxed out on. I think Proxima and Corvus are the main two that I don't have at. Of course, I never played Thanos, but Proxima and Corvus are the only other two I don't have maxed out. But anyway, I got a little sidetracked there. This is a Gladiator video, and as I was saying, Gladiator is actually not bad. I do like the character. He's strong. He's got great survivability. He's just costs a lot, so I don't know if he's really worth the investment with how many other characters we have in the game that can do what he does, if not the same or better, and you know, of course, aren't his same cost for like Black Antimatter investment. I still do want to get him eventually to level 70, but right now I'm still planning on working on Odin, so I'm pretty sure all of my Black Antimatter is going to go to getting to Odin, or getting Odin to tier 3. But that's going to be it for this video here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.